You know what breaks my heart? Walking through neighborhoods and seeing all these beautiful backyards with one thing in common. Boring, lifeless fences. Just standing there like forgotten walls, doing absolutely nothing except marking property lines. But here's what gets me excited, and I mean really excited. That fence in your backyard? It's not just a fence. It's a canvas. It's a vertical garden waiting to happen. It's your secret weapon for transforming your outdoor space into something absolutely magical. Welcome back to Daily Garden Guide, where we make gardening simple, enjoyable, and perfect for those of us who've earned the right to garden smarter, not harder. I'm so glad you're here today because we're about to completely change the way you look at that fence. Think about it for a second. That fence runs along your entire backyard, maybe 8 feet high, stretching from corner to corner. That's potentially hundreds of square feet of growing space that's doing absolutely nothing right now. What if I told you that fence could grow your food, create privacy that makes your neighbors wonder what you're hiding back there, block out those not-so-pretty views, and turn your yard into a retreat that feels like a vacation every single day? And the best part? You don't need to hire anyone. You don't need thousands of dollars. You just need a little creativity and the willingness to try something new. Sound good? Then let's dive in. Let me start with something that's going to blow your mind. Vertical gardens. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds complicated. But trust me, it's not. A vertical garden is simply taking that flat, boring fence and turning it into a living, breathing wall of plants. Instead of everything growing at ground level where you have to bend over, these plants grow upward, right at eye level where you can actually enjoy them. The simplest way to start? Pocket planters. These are made from felt or heavy fabric, and they hang right on your fence. Each pocket holds soil and a plant. You can grow herbs like basil and thyme, lettuce for your salads, strawberries for snacking, or beautiful flowers. The magic is that each pocket drains on its own, and the whole thing weighs so much less than traditional pots. No strain on your fence, no strain on your back. Now, if you want something more permanent, here's what I love. Build simple wooden boxes and mount them at different heights along your fence. Put one at 2 feet, another at 4 feet, one more at 6 feet. Stagger them like steps. Then plant trailing flowers or herbs in each box. Things like creeping jenny, petunias, or ivy will cascade down, creating these gorgeous layers of green and color that make your fence look like something out of a magazine. Here's why this works so beautifully, especially for us. First, it maximizes space. If you've got a smaller yard, growing up instead of out gives you triple the planting area. Second, it brings all that color and beauty to eye level instead of down at your ankles where you can barely see it. And third, it completely hides that ugly fence behind living plants. The fence disappears, and all you see is garden. Now, watering used to be the challenge with vertical gardens, but not anymore. A simple drip irrigation system solves everything. Just run a soaker hose along the top of your fence with small tubes dropping down to each planter. Set it on a timer, and boom. Your garden waters itself. You're sipping lemonade while your fence garden thrives. If you're enjoying these ideas, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We share practical gardening tips like this every single day here at Daily Garden Guide, and I don't want you to miss a single one. Alright, let's talk about privacy. Because maybe you love your neighbors, but you don't necessarily want to see them every time you step outside. Climbing vines are your answer, and they work fast. I'm talking about creating a solid wall of green and flowers in just one growing season. If you've got a chain link fence, you're in luck. Vines love chain link. They grip that metal and cover the entire thing by midsummer. Clematis, morning glory, and passion flower will turn a see-through fence into a gorgeous, flower-covered privacy screen that'll have everyone asking how you did it. For wood fences, you'll want to install a simple trellis or wire grid a few inches away from the fence surface. This gives the vines something to climb without rotting your wood. Just stretch some heavy gauge wire in a grid pattern, secure it every 12 inches, and you're set. My favorites for fast coverage? Boston ivy and Virginia creeper. These are absolute workhorses. They grow fast, they don't mind shade, and in the fall, they turn this brilliant red color that's just stunning. Plant them about 18 inches apart along the base of your fence, and by year 2, they'll cover 8 feet of height. No problem. Now, if you want color and fragrance, climbing roses are beautiful, but they do need a bit more attention. Go for disease-resistant varieties like New Dawn or Zephyrine Drauhen. Train them along horizontal wires, tie the canes every foot or so, and prune them in late winter. The effort is worth it when those blooms appear. Here's an unconventional choice that I absolutely love. Hops vines. Yes, like for beer. They grow 15 to 20 feet in a single season, die back in winter, and pop right back up from the roots every spring. The hop flowers add gorgeous texture, and if you happen to brew beer, well, you can harvest them. How fun is that? One important tip. Plant your vines on your side of the fence where you want the coverage. I've seen people accidentally plant on their neighbor's side, and guess who gets the beautiful view? Not you. Now, stick with me because this next idea is something really special. Espalier fruit trees. I know, fancy French word, but stay with me. This is an ancient technique that trains fruit trees to grow completely flat against your fence. Instead of a big round tree taking up 12 feet of yard space, you get a productive fruit tree that's only 12 inches deep. How amazing is that? Apples, pears, peaches, figs, they all work beautifully. You plant a young tree about a foot from the fence. As the branches grow, you tie them horizontally to wires running parallel to the ground. Then you prune any growth that shoots forward or backward, keeping only the branches growing left and right. What you end up with is this incredible living fence that actually produces fruit. A single espalier apple tree can give you 30 to 50 pounds of apples every year while taking up almost no ground space. The fence supports the tree and reflects heat, which helps the fruit ripen even better. South-facing fences work best because they get full sun, but north-facing fences work great for shade-tolerant fruits like sour cherries. You'll prune twice a year. Late winter to shape the tree and remove dead wood. Summer to pinch back new growth and keep everything flat. It becomes this peaceful, meditative routine. Before we go further, if you're finding this helpful, leave me a comment below. Tell me which idea you're most excited to try. I read every single comment, and I love hearing from you. Plus, it helps other gardeners in our daily garden guide community discover these ideas too. Let's talk about something super flexible for those of us who like to change things up. Hanging planters and window boxes. These install in minutes, and you can swap them out whenever you feel like it. Fence-mounted window boxes use simple brackets that hook over the top rail of your fence. Fill them with annuals that bloom all summer. Petunias, geraniums, verbena. Then change them with the seasons. Pansies in spring, zinnias in summer, mums in fall. It keeps your fence looking fresh and interesting all year long. Hanging planters work on any fence with a flat top rail. Use S-hooks to hang baskets at different heights. Fuchsias, begonias, and trailing lobelia create these beautiful cascades of color. And here's the fun part. You can use them for food too. Cherry tomatoes, strawberries, and herbs thrive in hanging baskets. One fence-mounted planter can hold 3 basil plants, giving you enough for pesto all summer long. Now, have you heard about pallet gardens? Shipping pallets have become incredibly popular because they're often free, they're sturdy, and they're already designed in a grid pattern that's perfect for planting. You can find pallets at hardware stores, garden centers, or distribution warehouses. Just look for one stamped HT for heat-treated, not MB. Heat-treated pallets are completely safe for growing food. Stand the pallet upright and lean it against your fence. Staple some landscape fabric to the back and bottom to create pockets. Fill the spaces between the slats with potting soil, and plant herbs, lettuce, or flowers in each gap. For a more polished look, sand the pallet down and stain or paint it. Mount it permanently to the fence with deck screws. These work especially well for herbs because they need excellent drainage. Thyme, oregano, sage, rosemary, they all thrive in those shallow pockets. And the best part? Harvesting is easy. No bending over. 3 pallets mounted side by side create this amazing feature wall. Paint each one a different color for visual interest. It's rustic, it's charming, and it costs next to nothing. Alright, now for something that's low maintenance and absolutely stunning. Succulent walls. If you travel, if you forget to water, if you live somewhere hot and dry, this is for you. Build a simple frame from lumber the size of the fence section you want to cover. Attach wire mesh to the back, then cover the front with another layer of mesh or chicken wire. Fill the space between with sphagnum moss mixed with potting soil. Lay the frame flat on the ground and poke holes through the front mesh. Insert succulent cuttings or small plants, spacing them 2 to 3 inches apart. Let it sit flat for 2 weeks so the roots can establish. Then mount the frame vertically on your fence. The succulents will turn themselves toward the sun within days. It's like magic. Sedums, sempervivums, and echeverias work beautifully. They tolerate neglect and look sculptural even when they're not flowering. Mix different colors and textures. Green rosettes, purple hens and chicks, trailing burrow's tail. Water once a week in summer, once every 2 weeks in winter. That's it. The living wall becomes this gorgeous focal point. Install it behind a seating area where you can admire it every day. Now, here's a quick and dramatic solution if your fence is too low or you need faster coverage. Trellis panels. These lattice panels come in 4 by 8 foot sheets at any hardware store. Mount them on top of your existing fence using metal brackets, and you instantly add 2 to 3 feet of height. Stain or paint the lattice to match your fence or create contrast. Plant fast-growing vines at the base. Morning Glory, Black-Eyed Susan vine, or Hyacinth bean. Within 6 weeks, those vines will cover the lattice, creating a living screen that gives you privacy and beauty. I've got a clever trick for you that makes small yards feel so much bigger. Outdoor mirrors. When you mount mirrors on your fence, they create the illusion of depth. Your yard suddenly feels twice as large. Use acrylic mirrors instead of glass. They're lighter, safer, and weather-resistant. Frame them to look like windows or arched doorways. An arched doorway mirror tricks the eye into thinking there's another garden beyond the fence. Position mirrors to reflect the prettiest parts of your yard. Your flower beds, your trees, your seating areas. The effect is dramatic. Visitors do a double take. They think they're looking through an opening in the fence. It's a low-cost way to add magic without any maintenance. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're still with me. It tells me you're enjoying this, and it helps other gardeners find daily garden guide. Here's something fun, especially if you have grandkids who visit. Paint a section of fence with chalkboard paint. A 4 by 4 foot square is perfect. Let the kids draw on it, write garden reminders, create seasonal decorations. That black surface also makes a dramatic backdrop for bright flowers planted below. Or hang outdoor art. Metal sculptures, ceramic tiles, weatherproof paintings. These add color and personality without watering or maintenance. Now, let me share a budget-friendly idea that's absolutely genius. Rain gutter planters. Cut sections of vinyl rain gutter to whatever length you want. Drill drainage holes every 6 inches. Mount them horizontally on your fence using gutter brackets. Fill with potting soil and plant lettuce, herbs, or annual flowers. Gutters are perfect for shallow-rooted plants, and they're so inexpensive. A 10-foot section of gutter costs less than $5. You can create 20 feet of planting space for under $10. Mount gutters at different heights to create a cascading effect. Plant trailing flowers in the upper gutters so they cascade down to the lower ones. This works especially well for salad greens. Plant a different lettuce variety in each gutter. Romaine, butterhead, arugula, spinach. Harvest continuously by cutting the outer leaves. Fresh salad right from your fence. Let's talk about extending your enjoyment into the evening. Fences are perfect for mounting outdoor lighting. String lights along the top rail create instant ambience. Use Edison bulbs for vintage charm or globe lights for a modern look. Drape them in gentle swoops rather than pulling them tight. Solar spotlights mounted at the base shine upward, highlighting your plants and creating dramatic shadows. Lanterns hung at regular intervals provide functional lighting while adding decorative charm. For pure magic, weave fairy lights through climbing vines or tuck them into vertical gardens. Those tiny lights glowing through leaves create a firefly effect that transforms your yard into an enchanted space. Here's the real secret to an amazing fence garden. Don't just pick one technique. Combine them. Start with climbing vines for coverage. Add mounted planters at mid-height for pops of color. Install a mirror or art panel as a focal point. Finish with lighting for nighttime appeal. Layer different textures. The rough wood of pallets, smooth succulent leaves, delicate clematis flowers, reflective mirror surfaces. That variety creates depth and makes your fence look incredibly sophisticated. Use color strategically. An all-white and silver garden creates calm elegance. A riot of purple clematis, orange marigolds, and pink roses creates energy and excitement. Design the section you see from your kitchen or living room window as your feature wall with the most color and interest. The goal is to make the fence disappear as a boundary and emerge as a garden in its own right. Now, let's talk maintenance, because I know that's on your mind. The good news? Fence gardens need less maintenance than you think. Watering is the main task, and if you set up drip irrigation or soaker hoses, that's just checking a timer once a week. Hand watering takes 10 to 15 minutes every other day in summer. Deadheading flowers extends blooming. Once a week, walk your fence line and pinch off spent blossoms. 10 minutes, and your plants keep flowering instead of going to seed. Pruning keeps vines under control. In late winter, cut back climbing plants to prevent them from overwhelming the fence. Remove dead wood and thin out crowded growth. Fertilize monthly during growing season with a balanced liquid fertilizer at half strength. Just pour it in your watering can and apply while watering. Replace annuals seasonally. Pull out spent summer flowers in fall and plant pansies. In spring, swap in petunias or marigolds. Your fence is so much more than a property line. It's 100 square feet or more of vertical growing space just waiting to be used. Whether you want privacy, food production, beauty, or all three, your fence can deliver. The best part? Most of these solutions cost under $100 and take just a weekend to install. My advice? Start small. Pick one 8-foot section of fence and transform it. Mount a few planters or plant a climbing rose. See how it changes the feel of your yard. Once you see that difference, you'll be hooked. That bare fence will start looking like wasted opportunity. Within a season or two, your backyard transforms from a yard with a fence into a garden where the fence is part of the design. That boundary that once marked the edge of your property becomes the backdrop for your private oasis. And every time you step outside, instead of seeing a wall, you'll see a living, growing, productive vertical garden that makes your neighbors ask how you did it. The fence was always there. The potential was always there. You just needed to see it differently. And now you do. Thanks so much for spending time with me today on Daily Garden Guide. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We're here every day making gardening simpler and more enjoyable for you. Drop a comment and let me know which fence idea you're trying first. I can't wait to hear about your transformations. Until tomorrow, happy gardening.